Welcome to Lexivia English. Ready to take your English to the next level? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. So sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy the journey.
Chapter 1 The Discovery. On a quiet Thursday morning in 2025, Dr. Sarah Chen made an announcement that would change the world forever. Standing in front of cameras at the Global Technology Institute, she held up a small device no bigger than a computer memory stick. This, she said, is the Knowledge Transfer Device, or KTD. It can download any information directly into the human brain in just minutes. The room was silent. Then one journalist asked, "You mean we can learn anything instantly?" Dr. Chen nodded. Languages, mathematics, history, science. Any subject that exists can be transferred to your mind as easily as downloading a file to your computer. She explained that the device worked by connecting to a port behind the ear, similar to how people once plugged headphones into their phones. The first demonstration was simple but incredible. A volunteer who spoke only English had the Spanish language downloaded into her brain. Within 5 minutes, she was speaking fluent Spanish, as if she had studied it for years. The audience gasped. The woman looked confused herself, touching her head and saying, I can suddenly understand and speak Spanish perfectly. It feels like I've always known it." News of the KTD spread around the world in hours. On social media, people shared their dreams of what they would download first. "I want to understand quantum physics," wrote one person. "I need to learn Mandarin for my job," wrote another. The waiting lists for the first KTD centers grew to millions of people. Humanity was about to enter a new age of instant learning. Chapter 2: The Learning Revolution. Within 6 months, KTD centers opened in major cities worldwide. The experience was surprisingly simple. People would sit in a comfortable chair, connect the small device behind their ear, and choose what they wanted to learn from a vast digital library. Want to become a doctor? Download medical knowledge. Interested in art? Get the complete history of painting and sculpture. The process felt like a gentle tingling sensation, and then suddenly the knowledge was there. The first changes were remarkable. A factory worker in Detroit downloaded engineering knowledge and designed a more efficient production line. A grandmother in Tokyo learned computer programming and created apps for her local community. Students stopped spending years in universities. They could get the same knowledge in days. The phrase lifelong learning took on a completely new meaning when you could learn a lifetime's worth of information in an afternoon. Languages became the most popular download. For the first time in history, people could truly communicate with anyone. A farmer from Brazil could download English, Mandarin, and Arabic, then sell his products directly to customers around the world. International business boomed as language barriers disappeared. Restaurants started serving authentic food from every culture because chefs could instantly learn traditional recipes from any country. The job market transformed completely. Companies stopped requiring years of experience or expensive degrees. Instead, they would sponsor employees to download specific skills. A person could be a lawyer in the morning and a software engineer by evening. Career changes that once took years now happened in hours. It seemed like humanity had solved the problem of education forever. Chapter 3: When everyone knows everything. But as more people used KTDs, unexpected problems began to appear. Dr. Michael Rodriguez, a psychologist studying the effects, noticed something troubling. People are downloading so much information that their personalities are changing. He reported, they're becoming walking libraries, but they're losing their individual creativity and personal experiences. In schools, a strange situation developed. Children as young as 8 were downloading university-level mathematics and science. They had incredible knowledge, but lacked the wisdom that comes from years of experience. A 10-year-old might know advanced chemistry, but couldn't understand why it was dangerous to mix certain chemicals without proper safety equipment. Knowledge without experience proved to be dangerous. The art world faced a crisis. When everyone could instantly download the techniques of great masters, millions of people started creating similar paintings and music. Art galleries were flooded with technically perfect but emotionally empty works. "We have 1,000,000 Picassos now," complained one art critic, "but none of them have lived Picasso's life or felt his struggles." Social conversations became strange. At dinner parties, people would discuss complex scientific theories or historical events with perfect accuracy, but these conversations felt hollow. They were sharing downloaded information, not personal insights or experiences. The warmth of human connection started to disappear as people became more like computers than humans. Chapter 4: The Memory Crisis. A year after the KTD was released, Dr. Chen received an urgent call. People were reporting serious side effects. The human brain, it turned out, had limits. When people downloaded too much information, their original memories began to fade. A woman who had downloaded 5 languages forgot her childhood. A man who learned advanced mathematics could no longer remember his wife's face. The brain, scientists discovered, was like a storage device with limited space. When you filled it with downloaded knowledge, it had to delete other information to make room. People were losing their personal histories, their emotional memories, and their sense of self. Families were destroyed when parents forgot their children's names after downloading too much professional knowledge. Even worse, some people became addicted to downloading. They spent all their time and money getting new knowledge, ignoring their jobs, families, and health. Knowledge junkies would sit in KTD centers for hours, downloading everything from ancient philosophy to modern cooking techniques. They became walking encyclopedias, but lost the ability to form relationships or feel emotions. Hospitals reported a new condition: information overload syndrome. People's minds couldn't process the vast amounts of downloaded data. They would speak in fragments, mixing different languages and subjects randomly. Some patients would recite historical facts while crying, unable to understand why they felt sad. The human mind, it seemed, was not designed to handle instant, unlimited knowledge. Chapter 5: The Divide. Society split into two groups: the downloaders and the naturals. Downloaders believed that instant knowledge was humanity's greatest achievement. They formed communities where everyone shared the same downloaded information, creating a kind of hive mind. These communities were incredibly efficient. They could solve complex problems quickly because everyone had access to the same vast knowledge. The naturals chose to learn the old way, through books, practice, and experience. They believed that struggle and time were essential parts of learning. When you work hard to understand something, explained Maria Santos, a natural teacher, it becomes part of who you are. Downloaded knowledge is just borrowed information. The divide created serious problems. In businesses, downloaders could work faster and know more facts, but naturals were better at creative problem solving and understanding human emotions. In relationships, downloaders struggled to connect with people emotionally, while naturals found it hard to keep up with the rapidly changing world of instant knowledge. Children caught in the middle suffered the most. Some parents downloaded knowledge into their young children, believing it would give them advantages. Other parents refused to let their children use KTDs, fearing it would change their personalities. Schools didn't know how to teach classes where some students had downloaded university-level knowledge while others learned naturally. Chapter 6: Finding Balance. 5 years after the KTD's invention, Dr. Chen stood before cameras again. This time, she looked tired and concerned. "We gave humanity a powerful tool," she said, "but we didn't consider the full consequences. Knowledge without wisdom information without experience, facts without feeling. This is not true learning. A new movement began. People started using KTDs more carefully, downloading only essential knowledge and leaving room for natural learning and personal growth. Medical schools began requiring students to have real experience with patients, not just downloaded medical knowledge. Artists returned to developing their own styles instead of copying downloaded techniques. The most successful people became those who could balance both types of learning. They would download basic information quickly, then spend time developing personal insights and creative applications. A doctor might download medical knowledge, but spend years learning how to comfort patients. An engineer might download technical skills, but develop problem-solving wisdom through experience. New regulations were created to protect people from information overload. KTD centers were required to limit downloads and provide counseling about the risks. Children couldn't use the devices until they were 16, ensuring they developed their own personalities and learning abilities first. Chapter 7: The New World. Today, the world is different but not destroyed. The KTD exists as a powerful tool, but humanity has learned to use it wisely. People understand that true knowledge comes from combining downloaded information with personal experience, emotion, and creativity. In a typical city, you might see a teacher who downloaded multiple languages, working with students who are learning naturally. The teacher can communicate with everyone, but the students are developing their own unique understanding of the world. In hospitals, doctors use downloaded medical knowledge as a foundation, but their healing touch comes from years of caring for patients. The greatest lesson humanity learned was that knowledge and wisdom are different things. A computer can store infinite information, but only a human mind can understand what that information means. The KTG gave people access to all human knowledge, but it couldn't give them the wisdom to use it well. Children today grow up in a world where they can learn anything instantly, but they also understand the value of patience, struggle, and personal growth. They know that the most important things in life, love, friendship, creativity, and wisdom cannot be downloaded. These must be learned through living, feeling, and experiencing the world with their own hearts and minds. The story of the knowledge transfer device reminds us that the human experience is about more than just collecting information. It's about growing, changing, and becoming who we are meant to be, one experience at a time.